ChatGPT is all everyone can talk about, but can AI hurt your content efforts as opposed to help your content efforts? Whatever your view is, it is undeniable that AI has changed how you need to approach content marketing forever. Plus, TikTok is now the #1 social media app, but will its place be short-lived? All that and a whole lot more in this episode of Inbound Buzz.
Welcome to the Inbound Buzz podcast, your weekly jolt of all things digital and inbound marketing, brought to you by redpandas.com.au. Now for your host and co-founder of Red Pandas, Moby Sadiq.
Welcome to the Inbound Buzz podcast, episode 134. My name is Tony Cow, and welcome back, Moby Sadiq. How are you going?
Man, I don't know. I feel a little bit hurt, Tony. Like, you know, you replaced me last episode. You had a much more, I'm sure, you know, better looking person than me on the show, you know. But no, it's good to be back, man. It's really good to be back here.
Absolutely. With your expertise and knowledge, absolutely. Always good to be back.
You know, like, your place in Red Panda is cemented. You don't need to kiss my ass. Like, we cannot run the business without you. That's good to be here, man. What are we talking about today? What do we got on?
So our first news buzz section, Google Ads new transparency center. Interesting. So Google Ads recently has got a new Google Ads transparency center they've set up. So I don't know if you've noticed, but when you look at ads now, you can see like who the advertiser are, the business details, even ads that they're running. Anything to do with political ads, they have to show. I was really excited about it, Moby. Like, I was like, man, this sector's like, you know, the Facebook ads library. It's not there
because you can
yet.
see your competition. That's what you're telling me, because I got really excited. I'm like, oh, it's like Facebook ads library. You can, and I remember when Facebook ads library came out years ago, and I don't know if you're the same, Tony. I used that shit to sell everyone, because like everyone was like, wow, it was new, right?
Yeah.
This is what your competitors are running. So I thought that's the whole thing, because that's how they're promoting it. They said now you can see your competitors' ads.
Yeah.
But you think it's not as good as it's...
Not yet. You know, we can't write off, you know, YouTube yet. I think it's going to get better and better. But just right now, it's, you know, I was excited about it, but it's not as good as Facebook's library yet.
Yeah. Well, let's give them benefit of the doubt. I know they're still rolling it out. They're trying to make it better. I know not everyone has it yet. I know you have seen it. But the idea is the Ads Transparency Center will be a searchable hub for all ads served by verified advertisers. So I'd like to hope it gets to that level where Facebook ads library is, because that'd be pretty cool. But the idea is you can see ads, what ads in a certain region, which I really like. Whereas I don't think, does ads library give you ads in a certain region?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. So it'll be like, they're just trying to match that, right? Ads in a certain region, and the last date the ad ran in the format of the ad. So I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, because originally with YouTube ads or, with YouTube ads specifically, we had to use a spy tool called Video Ads Vault or VidTower. And now we pay money for that. So it would be good if we could just get it for free.
Cool. The next one I'm really excited about. So now officially, we have spoken about TikTok as being the fastest growing app. But now it's officially the #1 app. And this is hot at the heels of the US government trying to take it down, which by the time this show comes out, it might be gone from the US. It might be gone, right? But in Q1 of 2023, TikTok surpassed Instagram as the #1 social media app in the world. Not only that, it also became the #1 app in consumer spending. And in Jan, TikTok became the second non-gaming app to reach an all-time in-app consumer spend of $6 billion. And the government's trying to get rid of it.
They're trying to ban it. Do you reckon what's...
I don't know, Tony. Like I'm so sick and tired of talking about this. Like ever since we started doing the show together, every 6 months, 3 months, it's like, they're going to get rid of it. They're going to get rid of it. It's like, guys, just kill us already. Just stop giving us this slow death.
And TikTok even said, I don't know if you're watching the CEO that was in the American judicial system. He was saying like, we will put the servers in America. You guys can look at it. Like, you know, it's in American territory. You guys can view it, look at it. Is that okay? And they still said, nah, that's not good enough. How crazy is that?
Okay, so this is not Alex Jones. This is not a conspiracy show. But I will say this, and then I will stop, that there is a lot of growing evidence that this is used to the Restrict Act, right? I think it's called the Restrict Act or whatever. It's used as an excuse.
Yeah.
Because they want to ban VPNs, they want to ban TikTok, they want to use it as an excuse. So if you can't control crypto and the finance markets and the apps, you can control the internet.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not an Alex Jones supporter, guys, so no one
This is
think
not
that.
flat Earth.
This is not flatearth.com, right? But look, I think there's merit to the argument that there's another reason. But to be honest, like you and I were catching up before, like this would be really upsetting because TikTok is an amazing app, right?
Yeah.
They evolved social media. And you said this earlier, it's not social media. What do you call it? It's
Social entertainment.
social entertainment. And we spoke about this once before, how we moved from the social graph to the interest graph. So it's less about your closed network of people that you know, and it's more around your interests and what you're into. And yes, YouTube Shorts is trying to catch up, but the algorithm's still not as good. It's not nearly as good from shareability. Like YouTube doesn't let you download the short. Whereas, Tony, you're not on TikTok, but I can still download something and share it with you.
Fantastic.
It just leaves the watermark on, right? It's from a shareability perspective. And also the algorithm, right? The algorithm is just too good. TikTok's algorithm is too good. It's too adaptive. It's too linked to your social, your interest graph. And this is coming from someone who's on YouTube Shorts a lot. I am on YouTube Shorts a lot. It's just not there. Editing, you can't edit as good. The music library isn't as good. You can't share. So it would be a real damn shame. And I feel like it is happening, but
And especially for all the influencers who built such a big following, like I feel like all that hard work just gone like that, right? You could understand.
yeah, it's the only network where I have a decent amount of people. So I'd be lying if I said that wouldn't be the thing. But to be honest, like the skills that I've learned in snackable content over the last couple of years, I could apply anywhere. But Tony, that's what I'm saying. Like I tried to use Reels and YouTube Shorts and use like adding music and overlay. It's not the same, man. It's just not the same. Like TikTok as a video editing app is better than anything free on the market.
Well, why is that, sorry?
It's just so easy to use.
Yeah, right.
They just every 3-4 months, they keep evolving it. You can overlay images. You can add clips all inside of the app. So it actually doubles as because it's such a, we're talking about this, it's an entertainment app. It's not just a social media app. It's an entertainment app. So it has, and I think they even own CapCut as well, right?
Yeah.
Which is a standalone editing app as well. The other networks, they just don't have it. They just don't have it.
Quick question. If, because the company that owns TikTok.
ByteDance?
Yeah, ByteDance. If they
Don't
sell
act like you don't know them, Tony.
No, I actually forgot. We were talking about it last week. If they sell it off, do you reckon it'll still be just as good?
If they sell it off, yeah, I think so. You know why? Because if you buy it properly, you get the IP, you get the technology, you get the developers, you get a lot there. I think another interesting question on top of that is what happens if it goes down? Because there's going to be a void here. Because YouTube Shorts and Reels aren't good enough to fill that void. Now I know Reels was a standalone app and they brought it back. They did this whole thing, but I actually predict that YouTube might give it a go. Like if TikTok goes down, they might create a Shorts app.
Interesting.
Because it's just different. Like, when you have that Shorts thing on its own or that snackable form on its own, it's just different. There's a different ecosystem. Like jumping in and out just feels like a different experience. It just feels like having like Uber Eats and the Uber app in one. That's why Uber split them.
Interesting. Yeah, good
But
point.
it just depends on, like, I know in Asia they have the Grab app and you can do everything in Grab, food, delivery, everything.
I don't know about that.
So, Tony, you don't know anything about Asian culture.
Uber Eats.
but yeah, anyway, but I'm so sick and tired of talking about this and I'm sure our audience is as well, but just kill it already, man. Just put us out of our misery.
Oh, interesting. Our next news buzz. Meta launches new Reels ad option as it leans into evolving consumption shifts. And this is interesting because originally we had the Messenger app ad where you could create a Facebook ad, right? And target people that can message businesses on Messenger. But now they are allowing on Reels because they notice that, through data that social media users, have changed a lot of their, behaviors on the platform. So, what happens is now, let's say, instead of doing a social post, whatever, most social people did in the past, now it's more DMs. Like when I see something nice on Instagram, I kind of just DM.
It's on newsfeed, tags and comments and conversations. Yeah.
Yeah. So a recent survey shows that almost 50% of Reel viewers have made DM contacts with a brand after seeing its short video content. So imagine on Reels and stuff, a business has a nice content about a product, e-commerce. 50% of people that watch that will message the brand and ask more information about it. So that's interesting. Like,
yeah. I mean, I think it's important to not 50% of everyone who's seen that. That study is saying like 50% of. See, I'd love to know what they mean by that, because there's two ways I could take that. The other way I could take that, of all the people who use Reels, 50% of them at some point saw something and then DM'd someone.
yeah, 50% of real viewers.
Yeah. But is it like, it's not every Reel. It is anyone who's used Reels
Yes, that's correct. It's probably like an ad.
that they might have done once or twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it still shows that we've used it.
Yeah.
Half of us have used it.
So that's interesting. Like, so like for businesses out there, advertising with the Messenger app on Reels could help you get more business, deliver a better quality service, reply back to the customer, the prospect, and, lead them to a nurturing funnel and stuff.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, that's it for our news buzz. Moving on, feature buzz. How your content strategy must adapt to AI. Interesting.
Yeah, so I had a thing on my LinkedIn, a little post about this, and had a bit of a conversation with some people, and I thought I'd talk about it here. The thing is, Tony, like everyone knows this, there's already so much crappy content out there, right? Pre-AI, so much crappy content out there. And you just get this sense that with AI, ChatGPT, Midjourney, that the amount of subpar drivel is just going to go exponentially up. It's just going to go up, right? There's just so much crappy content out there. And the thing is, you and I speak about this. It's the hard stuff in business that works, right? You shared that example with me. Building communities, building a brand, doing good content, getting a podcast, getting video editors, cutting it up properly, not just doing some shitty thing at home. Like, you have to do the hard thing. Get a content manager, hire them full-time, train them. The cheap, easy shit doesn't work, but people don't learn. They'll still try the cheap, easy shit and they'll be disappointed. Now, the problem with that is if your content is kind of already average, it's going to look a lot more average. So in this episode, for our featured buzz, I wanted to talk about what brands can do as an opportunity to actually stand out. And it's actually easier than it's not. Like, it's very simple, but there's some simple things brands can do to stand out from all this crappy AI content that's about to hit our shores.
But we're not saying don't use AI, right? We're not against it.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. And like, I can get to that a little bit later, but it should be a tool.
Okay.
I'm not saying, it's a good point. I'm not saying it's crap and don't use it, but people are inevitably going to just rely on it and create shitty content.
So what should brands do? Even maybe using AI, like they are, we can't stop them, but also produce good quality content. What do we do?
So the first tip is stories, right? Anyone who's watched our story brand episode, which is a way how to cut through using principles of storytelling, this will make sense to stand the test of time. Use stories and personality. So I want to share a quote by my friend Marcus Sheridan. He says that if ChatGPT could write the same post, you've failed. Include experiences from your customers, team, and the market. So if ChatGPT can write it, we actually had an article recently, because not all the articles we write, we approve. Most of them we do. But an article that our amazing content writer, Luca, did, where Linda and I looked at it, we're like, look, it's a good piece of content, but it just looks like something that ChatGPT did. Like, don't put that out, So in a lot of our content, people can check out our blog on redpandas.com.au. In our blog, you'll find we will use, Luca likes using memes. He likes using his personality. It's still a very professional blog that generates us decent revenue, but he does it in a way where it's his personality. So adding soul and personality, it's going to be easier to consume.
So, like, I don't want to dive too deep. Do you mean like using tone and like jokes? Or is that what we mean by personality?
Yeah, I mean, okay. If you're a lawyer, maybe you don't need to put memes, although I'd argue you probably could. But it's like just adding tone and personality, like, relevance. You don't have to be funny. You can have authority. You can be like, we understand how it feels like when, you're in an accident and someone destroys your vehicle, right? We understand. It's like adding that empathy, that care. Now, it can be argued AI can do that, but it can't do it in a consistent way that a brand can do it. And the more, I know not all brands can do that, but you need to try to add personality and soul to your content because, again, If it looks like AI did it, then it's not good content.
Interesting. What's another point? Oops.
My second one is build relevance in your intro. So this is a very tactical thing. So in They Ask You Answer, we follow the They Ask You Answer methodology. And to be fair, actually, a lot of methodologies do this, right? You want to build relevance in your intro. So when they read that first paragraph, you want someone reading that paragraph thinking, oh yeah, that's me. Shit, I have that problem, right? So an example I want to share from one of our blogs that we recently did is, and this blog was about how to use virtual selling, right? Like virtual selling to sell. Have you ever tried to make a sale over Zoom but found it difficult to communicate effectively and build trust? In this article, we'll provide you with strategies that we use to shorten the sales cycle to win more deals virtually. Now, if you are a sales rep and you struggle to make that pivot from offline selling, or you still believe that offline selling in person is the best, and to be honest, it is, you can't always do that. So how do you bridge that? How do you actually make it close to offline selling? If you're reading that, you're like, oh, that's me. You know what I mean? So that's the idea. So it's a simple one, but use relevance in your intros so they feel like, yeah, that's me.
Okay, interesting. What about like word count and stuff when it comes to content?
One of the dumbest, most outdated SEO tips in 2023 is word count limits. Like every time I see this, oh, your word count must be 1,400 words. It's a pile of shit, right? It honestly is. The real answer is the limit is however long it needs to be to answer that query adequately.
Interesting, yeah.
However long it needs to be, either whether it's 500 words and an infographic or 4,000, 5,000 words. And this is the thing, like if you're asking that question, how long does it need to be? Actually, to be honest, it could be, naive. You don't know, you know. But if you're asking because like you're trying to game the system, it's just lazy, man. Yeah. It's just lazy.
Yeah.
If there's a question around, and I don't know why I thought of erectile dysfunction. I don't have erectile dysfunction, and even if I did, it's no one's business. We have a client called, in that industry, which I won't mention, but we have a client, and if they did a thing on like, what is erectile dysfunction or what causes erectile dysfunction, and you just put some subpar drivel there, yeah, versus compared to, okay, you actually research the keyword research and you use the keywords in the headers, in the H2s, and you're like causes, treatments, options, whatever. To do that properly, that's not 500 words. So that whole thing, the whole tip there is however long it needs to be to answer that query.
Okay, that's very tactical what you said about keyword research and stuff. So like when you're producing content, do you go full in into like a product, a niche, or like how do you approach it?
So the way we use content clusters, and what we'll do is, so for example, give me a topic, Tony, like an SEO topic.
Should we build upon the men's health or should we go on to different?
Let's move on to something else because people start getting ideas.
Okay. Cake. I don't know.
Okay. Let's. What about personalized cakes, right?
Yeah.
Personalized cakes. Let's go slightly niche. So personalized cakes. So what I would do is the first thing is literally look into your inquiries. Like think about all the questions people actually ask you. Can I personalize my cake? Can I get it gluten-free? Can I do this? What are my limits if I don't want to use artificial dye? Whatever it is, right? So that's the common sense thing, but you do that. The next thing is start using research tools. Now, if you don't want to pay for a tool like SEMrush, if you just use the people also ask section, and you put in a keyword, it will often give you that. It'll give you the questions. And if it's not, then just put in a question like why or what is the best type of personalized cake, whatever, right? Now, going a step further, I would actually recommend using a tool like SEMrush and finding all the themes. Then all of a sudden, now you have that, if you think of like a flow chart, you have personalized cakes. And what are the sub-themes? Maybe the cost, maybe types, maybe flavoring, benefits, whatever it is. Now, all of a sudden, you have a content cluster. And then if you wanted to make a kick-ass page better than anyone on personalized cakes, you could talk about that, and the subtopics have them as subheaders.
Okay.
So that would be a really good pillar page. If you want to go a step beyond that, then each of those subtopics, you can then branch off into their own pages that link back to the main page. But that's a very tactical answer to a tactical question, but that's how I would do it.
Okay. And then like moving into the next point, is that like how you would it just be on the website pages, or like, because you speak to me about like snackable content, like pilots. Explain to that, because
yeah, the snackable content as a pilot thing is this, right? So not all these things are related to AI, by the way, obviously, right? Like this is what you just need to do, right? So just to recap so far, use stories and personality, build relevance in your intros, ignore word count limits, use snackable content as pilots. The other so when I started doing, and this happened just by accident, when I started TikTok in 2020 and I was doing 4 posts a day and killing myself, what I would find is some posts would pop and some wouldn't. And then that would be really good market research for me. So, with shows, TV shows, you have a pilot, they have 1 episode, if it works well and it trends well and tests well with audiences, they then develop it into a series. That's how the TV industry works. Do the same thing with your content. So if you're putting out so much snackable content, you will start seeing and feeling what pops. So an example like this is very meta right now. This topic that we're talking about, like how you need to evolve content in light of AI, the only reason why I added it as a feature topic was on LinkedIn. It kicked ass.
Oh, okay.
It did really well on LinkedIn. I'm like, okay, cool. I can bridge that. So I've said this before. If you follow everything that Red Pandas do in every content that I put out, whether it's my personal TikTok, LinkedIn, Red Pandas LinkedIn, our show, our Instagram, you'll notice common trends, our email database, but people don't follow everything you do. So like repeating yourself is actually a good thing, right? But the point is treat snackable content as pilots, for you to develop your longer form, your downloads, that type of thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So like moving to the next point, you also speak about never create a piece of content without knowing its other 3 to 4 formats. So build on that, what you speak
Yeah.
about.
So it's kind of sort of related to the previous point. So when I first started podcasting, when I did it myself and I didn't have Tony next to me, it's a lot more fun with you, by the way, Tony. I will admit it's a lot more fun. In 2016, 2017. And then I think about 2020, I gave it up because I saw diminishing returns. Like I did it for 4 years and I actually did get a couple of clients. Red Pandas definitely got some clients out of it. But I'm like, it just feels like a waste of time. So now when we actually came back with a vengeance. Some people will know we have 2 shows, right? We've got Inbound Buzz, we have Marketing Mentors. And before we even started, we're like, this is going to be our strategy. We're going to have 1 show. We're going to cut it up into each show into 4 or 5 snippets. Those snippets are going to go on IG, TikTok, LinkedIn, people's personal LinkedIn if they want, wherever they want there. Then also we use some of that content that works really well, the pilot content as an article. It's a written article. Then we'll use it in the EDM. The point is repurposing isn't my biggest bugbear is taking the link of your blog and putting it on LinkedIn. That's not repurposing. Repurposing is taking the article, turning it into carousels on LinkedIn. So it's the same message delivered in a different format.
Yeah, right.
It is this podcast was a LinkedIn post I did. You and I turned it into a conversation.
Yeah.
That's repurposing.
And it's going to be on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and the list goes on. Yeah, okay.
Exactly. So don't waste your time. Like be smart/lazy. Don't create anything that takes so much time because naturally you just give up. The average podcast only lasts 12 episodes before they give up.
Yeah, right.
And I think it's because they don't have resilience. They don't want to persist. They can't really see that light at the end of the tunnel. And if you're not putting in 2, 3, 4 different things, it is a waste of time. Because how many podcasts are out there? Like how many people are going to listen to you?
Interesting. Another question, is AI going to remove Luca, our content manager?
Yeah, so we're kind of we're kind of coming full circle now. And I like to say that AI is a friend, not a Terminator foe.
Okay.
Right? AI isn't, and it's really important we mention this because in the intro, people might think I actually hate AI. In our show notes, actually, I'm going to link to a Notion board that we created at Red Pandas, and it's got like 20 odd AI prompts, like how to create an outline, a content outline, how to do keyword research, how to do they ask you answer content. So we'll share that in the show notes. This episode will be 134. So redpandas.com.au/EP134. I'll share that. So it can help you, but it's not going to replace anything. You know what I mean? It can help save you time. If you really, really want to, you could take a post by your competitor, right? You could put it into ChatGPT and you could say, rewrite this so it doesn't look plagiarized. Now, if you stop there, then you're lazy. And that's probably not a nice thing to do. But if you did that and then you added your own things to it and you added your own perspective, your own personality, and you bridged on that, then who's to say you did anything wrong?
Yeah.
It's an ethically relevant question, but you've created it your own. There's no new ideas anymore.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
it's pretty smart as well, right? Like
100%. 100%. 100%. The final thing I'll say is definitely look into this. Like, and this is something that I want to do more with myself personally, but our partners at Impact, they sell workshops every so often on AI. So you can get a workshop there. There's a course in Udemy that I'm looking at as well. And I'll link that in the show notes as well. It's how to have prompts, like the right prompts to put in for ChatGPT for content marketers, I believe. But yeah, and it's like a $35 course.
Yeah.
Spend an hour, don't watch Netflix that week, and just do the course. But they're my tips for content now with the advent of AI and all this content subpar drivel that's coming, what you need to do to stand out.
So just to wrap it up, how your content strategy must adapt to AI, use stories and personality, build relevance in your intro, ignore the word count limit, use snackable content as pilots, never create one piece of content without knowing its other 3 or 4 formats, and AI is a friend, not your Terminator foe.
Absolutely.
Okay, our next segment, Tony's tips, boost sales with upsells and cross-sells.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one, Tony. So, because I always thought upsells, cross-sells, like I kind of use that. I've used it interchangeably, I must admit, but it's more than that, isn't it?
Yeah, so we get asked this a lot from our clients, like what's the difference between upsells, cross-sells? When do you use upsells or cross-sells, So I just want to explain, what's the difference between upsells and cross-sells. Upselling is encouraging customers to purchase a comparable high-end value or product than the one that they're questioning to buy. So basically, if we're about to buy something and let's say it's an iPhone or a Mac, right? And we'll go to the website and have a look later. Like a MacBook. A MacBook, what's the newest one now? Maybe you just bought a new MacBook.
Yeah, there's a Pro now. There's a new MacBook Pro, M2 chip. Yeah.
And let's say it's got, how many RAM? 8 RAMs. Is it?
8 or 16 of RAM, whatever it is, yeah.
So we were to increase the RAM to 16 or we were to increase the storage from 1 terabyte to 2 terabytes, that is an upsell.
I think it's terabyte, but
terabyte. Sorry,
I'm not the meaning. Yeah. I get you. So that's the upsell. Yeah, that's the upsell. Yeah, it's the same thing but more quality.
Increasing the average order value just through the value, to a better product maybe, or to a bigger quantity. If you're selling, a 1 liter Coke bottle, it will be a 2 liter Coke bottle. So that's just the difference. A cross-sell.
Whereas fries with that is
a cross-sell.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you
exactly.
want fries with that is a cross-sell. Okay.
Yeah. So, and usually with just building on that with like McDonald's, they sell the bundle, right? And that's an upsell itself with the chips and the fries. So, with the burger.
Yep.
So a cross-sell is inviting customers to buy related complementary items on top of the original purchase. Like we're talking about with McDonald's or, any fast food, you get the burger. Do you want fries with that? Do you want Coke with that? It's supporting, it's complementary to the original hero product. Every website or every business has a hero product or service, something that sells a lot, something that people look up to. Apple has a lot, but let's say, for example, the MacBook, right? They go there for the MacBook or the iPhone, and then they go and upsell at the end of the funnel before the checkout page, or sometimes after, do you want iPods? Do you want magic trackpads and magic keyboards? And the list goes on. So we can see that's usually at and actually comes to my next point, when do you upsell and when do you cross-sell? What we see a lot, and it's just best practices, you upsell on the product page. It's just the best. You see the product. There's like a product page descriptions. Do you want to get 2 quantities or do you want to buy a
higher version, like the RAM thing? Yeah. You want to upgrade the spec? Yeah.
That's the best version. I wouldn't really recommend upselling right now because people might be confused and they're looking at the product. You want them to quickly make a purchase, psychologically in their brain, right? You want them to go add to cart. So usually just try to focus with an upsell. There is strategies, and we've seen where people and websites use bundles and stuff, and that can help with an upsell. But with a upsell, let's just focus on the product page.
Okay, focus the upsell on the product page. So I know we might look at a quick example
Yeah.
because I think that makes sense. To ask you like a really dumb question, if someone doesn't have any of that, right? Like they don't have upsell, cross-sell yet. They just have an e-com site. What would you focus on first? All
Interesting.
things equal, what would you focus on first?
The upsell.
Right,
It's easy to sell something at the start.
that you're already committed to.
Yeah. And it depends because like, let's say like one of our clients, AWO, Bass, shout
Australian
out.
Wholesale Oils, shout out to them. Yep.
So they have, selling essential oils. They have a 1 liter. It's easier to increase it to 2 liters, right? Per purchase, just from where the buy is at the moment.
Mhm.
But if there's something even more complementary, then I would add the upsell, like the diffusers, Oh, why don't
That's
you
a cross-sell.
Yeah, that's a cross sell.
Yeah.
That's when I would introduce that.
Mhm.
But for the time being, I would just focus on the upsell.
Right. So did you want to share this example?
Okay. Which one did you want to look at?
So this is obviously if you guys want to watch the video version, then you can check it out redpandas.com.au/EP134. But we're looking at a MacBook Pro essentially.
Yes. So looking at the Apple website, one of the biggest websites, where people go and have a look, we can see how they've structured their funnels. The upsells are all at the product page. You don't see like, do you want, do you want
Accessories or
accessories and
case
stuff.
or anything like that.
Their focus is to try increase the average order value, just with an upsell, and they want you to commit to the order. So you can see it's like memory, 8 gigabytes, 16 gigabytes, 24 gigabytes, or storage. So they're upselling the value of the product or to a better product, increasing the average order value.
Now go to add to bag.
Add to bag. Is that what we're purchasing today, Mopes?
Well, it's up to you, Tony. What do you want? So there you got the cross sells.
Now we've got the cross sells. You can see, do you want to add to bag, USB-C lighting, USB. So you can see that now, the buyer is committed to the product. Now it's time to upsell.
That makes sense. That makes so much sense. Like you showing that, talking us through that, it makes sense. If you weren't doing anything, focus on the upsell because you're already committed to that.
Yeah.
I mean, Apple's Apple, right? They've done all these studies and whatever, but you've already committed to it. So I bought a jiu-jitsu gi the other day and they didn't do an upsell, but they did a cross-sell. And I'm like, not really. But if they had said like, oh, for $5 more, you get a slightly better version. I'm like, it's only $5 more. And I was already going to buy it anyway. So yeah, okay, that makes sense.
But a cross-sell is pretty good also in the life cycle campaigns where after they purchase and they go away, you can always try to upsell them later with an email, SMS, or an ad. That helps, That's what upsells are about, just the retention of a customer.
Fair.
Why does like upsells and cross-sells work so well? And it was an article that you shared me and I thought was very interesting. Product combinations or product recommendations usually positions the business as experts. If they're recommending a product, let's say you're buying shoes and you want socks, because you're recommending a product and a complementary product, socks, the buyer just
perceives
you as like an expert.
that those things go together.
Yeah. And it really helps.
You buy those shoes and they come with the anklet socks. It's like, okay, they're the socks I'm supposed to get. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you buy this oil, comes with that oil.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a natural extension.
And you just automatically become like a credible expert. And without even, like really trying, right? So that's quite interesting.
Just to pull this into the service industry a little bit, I think it can be applied to the service industry too. Because one of the things that I've read in the Jolt effect is
The what, sorry?
the Jolt effect.
Okay.
It talks about how you deal with indecision in sales. And it's like one of the things you can, it seems ironic, right? But to reduce indecision, you can upsell them more support.
Interesting.
Right? So you can say, look, we're going to sell you this, service package, whatever. And or let's say we're installing HubSpot for someone, but we're going to also give you this support package at an extra cost. And what that tells them, yeah, it's an upsell, but at the same time, they're like, oh, okay, these guys know I need the support, or clients like me who go through this must need the support. The other mob didn't offer me that. Now I'm scared to go with the other mob. So that makes sense. And I think it can apply to B2B that way.
Remember like once I was thrown back with that Jolt effect and I was like, Moby, like they want to drop in their package and you're like, no, we're going to upsell them. And I was like, what are you doing there? I think
Yeah,
you got it wrong.
Yeah, you were a bit skeptical. You're like,
Yeah.
oh no, maybe you don't get it. They've told me they don't have money, they don't have budget. And what I said was, no, we haven't built the value enough.
Yeah.
That's what it is. They will find the budget if we build the value enough. And sure enough, we actually upsold them.
yeah.
And I purposely raised the price, right? I purposely raised the price.
That was interesting.
They were getting a better service. They were getting more time, but it was a very conscious effort to show them, no, this is very different to what you had before. And
Yeah.
that's how they would have perceived it because that's the reality.
So you upselled. It was crazy. Yeah. I was like blown away when you did that. So
Tony, you already got the job, man. It's fine. I'm playing.
okay, and that wraps it up for Tony's tips: boost sales with upsells and cross sales.
Thanks, Tony. It was really, it was good. It was good. I know it's slightly longer, but man, I just missed you, man. I just felt so left out.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I've got to work harder to stay on your good books to be on this
Makes
show.
up for last week. We made it longer this week.
There we go. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Please leave us a review, like, share wherever you see everything. And we'll join you again for another episode of Inbound Buzz.
Thanks for listening to Inbound Buzz. Learn anything? Return the favor by spreading the word. Want to make your mark in digital? Need help with your digital strategy, inbound, and marketing automation efforts? Then visit redpandas.com.au and be sure to tune in next time for another Inbound Buzz hit.